Last year, subscriber Malcolm Thompson emailed me and suggested that I might like to visit Kinclaven Wood just outside Perth. The woods are famous for the bluebells, and even though they lie just over an hour from where I live, I'd never even heard of them before, let alone visited. So this year, just as the bluebells were beginning to bloom elsewhere, I travelled to Kinclaven to see for myself. Now, it took me 3 visits over the space of 2 weeks to actually catch the bloom at their peak, but I hope you'll agree that they were well worth the effort. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? I'm like a kid in a sweet shop here. This is incredible. The number of bluebells that we have is just unbelievable. I was here as recently as about 6 days ago and there was nothing like this. Look at this. Right, let me talk you through composition. I like that tree, but I was shooting it from over here and we were getting a kind of overlap. You've got 3 trees in a row there and they were kind of blending into one. So by moving just a little bit further to the side, I can now get separation between the 3 of those trees. So I've set up probably a square composition where I'm going to focus on this front tree. Square composition, probably as far up as the stump just down here. The carpet of bluebells, possibly including this tree here as well. And that gradual fade off in terms of focus, and because of the light mist that we have, is going to hopefully give us a degree of separation there. That's an impressive big tree, isn't it? Just having a look around to see if there's any composition. I think I'd probably have to be back a little, but it's got potential, hasn't it? I love those exposed roots down in the bottom right, and then the detail and the texture in the trunk is just incredible. And then you've got the arch of that heavy branch forming a kind of natural frame over a sea of bluebells. Yeah, that's got to be a shot, hasn't it? Right, slight change of plan. What I did was I shot that tree as I suggested, including the arch and the foreground, but I found that was having to include quite a bit of sky because I was shooting up to get that archway, and that was burning out. So I decided to lose the arch, but go in closer on the root system. So now I've got the roots kind of snaking through these fallen leaves, so you've got a nice colour contrast there. You've got the reds and the greens, the snaking all the way up to this beautiful tree trunk, and then we still have the carpet of bluebells in the background. So something like that is the composition. I'll probably make it again, maybe a 16:9 or even a 3:1, but yeah, it looks lovely. What I did was, I'm shooting at f8. I did a focus point here, a focus point on the actual trunk, and then I refocused and focused on those distant trees. I think I'm obsessed with this big tree. I can't seem to move away. I'm loving this root system, the moss colour, the contrast with the fallen leaves, and then every now and again you find the composition where you've got the bluebells as well. It's just an amazing tree. It turns out there's another one right next to it that I couldn't see for the foreground one. So that again gives you a kind of, it's almost like a little archway view of the world. I'm wondering if I go on the other side of this and look out, there might be a shot there across the trees and the bluebells. I quite like this huge fallen branch here as well, so while I'm up here I'll grab that shot and then we'll go the other side of these trees and see if there's a shot to be had there. Right, let me talk you through this one. I've finally settled on a style, a composition. So, as I said, I'm using these two trees as a framing tool for the bluebells beyond. I'd originally went in quite tight, so maybe just a square crop around there, but then I realised as you pull out a little bit wider, you can include the bluebells on either side of the trees as well. And I think if we go for that 16 by 9, 3 by 1 kind of crop, then that might look a wee bit more pleasing to the eye because you've got bluebells on either side as well. So I've shot both. As before, focused on the tree, exposed for the tree, refocused on the distant trees, exposed for them, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way of blending them together in post-processing. Yeah, that's it on the back of the camera, and yeah, it looks okay. It looks not too bad. We could have done with either a little mist or a little direct light, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I like that, I really like that. I should probably say I am actually here on my own, but I'm meeting up with another YouTuber in a couple of hours from now. Simon Jerromes is coming up from down south, but because it's only about an hour away from where I live, so I came up a little bit earlier to scout the place out. Oh wow, how about this for a scene? You got this amazing colour contrast here between these moss covered fallen branches, the bluebells scattered all the way through the woods. You've got some lovely textures on some of these foreground trees. This tree that's leaning off to the side is just adding a bit of drama, and the whole thing is just incredible. I'm going to take another, probably a 3 by 1 again, crop from just beyond the side of this tree all the way across until include that tree there as well. The carpet of bluebells beyond. Wow. I might actually do this as a panorama and then stitch them together into a 3 by 1. But that is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I've come round a little bit further. I was in those trees off to the left there, shooting these bluebells, but I've now come round. I'm still only about 5 minutes walk from the car park. I've hardly moved because there's compositions everywhere you look. And look at that for a sea of bluebells right there. These colours just don't look real, they look completely false colour. That's incredible. Right, how about this for another shot? What I've done is I've got down low and I'm utilising this fern now as a foreground interest. I've focused on the fern. I'm shooting at f10 to try and maximise the depth of field, but I've focused on the fern and got that image, and then I've refocused on the tree, kept the same exposure, etc., and reshot it again. That's probably the composition there, because I was allowing just a little gap between the top of the fern and the back of the bluebells. I'm just thinking it'll be quite interesting when Simon arrives to see if he takes completely different shots from me, or whether we would have drawn to exactly the same things. Now there's a big bit of colour contrast there. I'd be rude not to shoot that. It's just dawned on me that I've got a bit of an advantage here over Simon, because by the time he arrives I'll have already done a circuit of the woods. I'll have taken the bulk of the compositions that I'm going to take, whereas he doesn't know what I've shot, so you know, he can't be accused of nicking any of my compositions. But because I'll be there while he's seen his shots, if he sees something that I missed first time round, I get to nick his, so it's a win-win really for me. I've just taken this shot of the base of the tree and the canopy and these bluebells along the bottom, intermixed with some ferns and some little white flowers that I'd love to tell you what they are, but I've no idea. And it was quite nice. I did originally try and shoot it down low, thinking that I could maximise the amount of trunk that you could see below the canopy of leaves, but that was introducing the sky. So by getting up high, you do minimise the amount of the trunk that you see, but you maximise the number of bluebells. You remove the sky and you get this lovely arc of the foliage. So I think compositionally I kind of prefer that. It's almost forming like an arc here, which kind of echoes the arc you've got here. And then you've got this beautiful transition from the bluebells to the foliage beyond. Right, I've just noticed we've got some gorse bushes in the background there. Now that's the ultimate colour contrast, isn't it? Bright golden yellow gorse and the blue of the bluebells, mixed in with some nice oranges and yellows, and not to mention the greens. We've got a full colour palette there. I'm going to look to see if there's a way I can include some of the gorse with the bluebells. Well, that's impressive. Just don't know where the shot is. It's weird, you kind of become kind of jaded to them all. You know, when I first arrived, I was a kid in a sweet shop, but now you're giving them, you know, bluebells again. How fickle we are. Eh? I do like this. You've got the colour contrast, obviously, with the yellow and green moss on the fallen branches. You've got that beautiful carpet of bluebells in the background. And then you've got these trees here on the right. Again, problem is I'm going to have to try and exclude the sky, so maybe that sort of composition. but I really like the colour contrast between that moss and those bluebells, so I think I'll grab this shot. I just spotted this little tree here, and I thought, well, that looks quite nice, you know, against the bluebells and the kind of darker background. If I go shallow depth of field again, I might be able to get that to stand out. And got the tripod out, and it wasn't until I'd settled down and was trying to find a composition that I suddenly realised footprint, 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 footprint. Lots of footprints. I've got a bad feeling this has been shot many times already, but it is what it is. It's not been shot by me, so I'm going to grab a quick image. Unfortunately, I'm not going to stand on the bluebells. That's not the unfortunate part. I'm not going to stand on the bluebells, but unfortunately that means I'm going to miss what I think is probably the best composition. I think that's probably why people have been over there, because in order to get a tree isolated from the brighter sky to this side, you kind of need to be more on the left, and that unfortunately takes you into bluebell territory. I think I'll maybe try to go back and see if it's possible to take it from a little bit further back rather than be one of those people that step on the bluebells. Because I do like that little tree, I think that's got a bit of potential. Right, I might have managed to find a way of grabbing that tree. As you can see, I am not on the bluebells, I am nowhere near any of the bluebells. But I've come back a little bit and I've managed to get it so that the tree is away from this brighter patch of sky here. And as you can see, I've got it isolated from the brighter background, and that's allowing me to selectively focus on the base of the tree and open it right up to f4 to try and get a very narrow depth of field, and then just shoot with the darker leaves beyond, and then that sea of bluebells along the base. Right, I'm back at the area I started, and that's worked out quite well because my battery on my camera is about to go. So I'm going to head back to the car, which is only like 2 minutes from here. And while I'm waiting on Simon arriving, he's about an hour away, and then we'll head back out. Yeah, so that's the batteries are charged, and I'm just out for a little look, see if there's anything new turned up in the woods since last time I was in. And oh look, there you go. There we go. Mr. Simon Jerromes is with me again.
How are you doing? All right.
I told you he was on his way. So we're doing it all again, and I'm not mentioning to him that I'm going to nick all his compositions when he's not looking. So we're off to do another circuit. I'd like to say a lap of honour, but in my case it's probably a lap of dishonour because I'm going to be nicking all his compositions now. Basically what I'm doing on this second trip round is I've changed lenses. I've got the 70-300mm lens on now, and that's hopefully going to allow me to get some telephoto shots, obviously, so maybe compress the perspective a little bit. And like I say, I'm going to keep an eye on whatever Simon's doing and nick all his best compositions. Right, for the viewers who have already seen what's went before this, it's kind of interesting to notice that I've not said anything, but Simon stopped at exactly the same spot that I stopped at.
Oh, have you already got this one already?
No, I don't know what you're shooting. It depends what you're shooting, doesn't it?
That's what he's been saying all the time. So I might have this shot. I might have this shot already. And it's like,
yeah, really? I've basically got the whole wood copyrighted now, so I'm going to get paid every time Simon takes a photograph. It's brilliant. What way are you shooting? What way are you shooting?
Well, I'm shooting these two trees here, and I'm just trying to pick up on these nice oak leaves.
Yeah, well, that's we were very similar in our thinking.
Oh, right, okay.
I'll explain to you what I did when you've taken yours, but that's quite. It's fascinating that though, watching another photographer work because you have pretty much stopped at exactly the same spot that I stopped at. But you're shooting in a different direction, so you've seen something different. Oh no, I was shooting in that direction, but you're shooting something that I didn't shoot. So it's kind of weird. It's like people watching on steroids with your composition.
Now, John, this is what proper photographers do.
This is how real ones do it. This is what I should have been shooting.
No, well, I know I was moaning to you just now about the sky. So the sky seems to be in all the shots all the time. But what I've done is I brought the camera up and I'm kind of shooting down a little bit and just using these oak leaves just to sort of make a sort of feature up in this top corner,
right,
against the blue of the bluebells, and just having this trunk in just on the right hand side kind of complements. Very complimentary.
Very, very complimentary, yeah. It works as well, looks great.
Yeah,
It looks great in the back of the camera, yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can make a bit of a feature of that oak leaf, which should stand out quite nicely once the picture's processed.
Excellent. Well done. Well, I tell you what I shot from here. I was right here and kind of similar, only I looked down and I used that same branch of leaves as a framing tool, and I had the green along the top, the green and the blue below, and then that tree trunk underneath.
Nice.
And I was going to do maybe a 16:9 or a 3:1 or something like that, and just have the carpet of bluebells, I'm waving this about, have the carpet of bluebells disappearing off. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's weird that we both stopped at exactly the same branch and shot two different images.
Well, I think when you're a photographer, you are kind of switched on to
you're looking for things like that, aren't you?
I'll be very surprised if we don't get very similar sort of shots, because I think the same things leap out to you that leap out to me as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's
interesting. It's always good to see somebody else at work. I've just found this little composition. We've got these white, I think they're daisies, I'm going to call them daisies, they're probably not. And I've got them down at the bottom lower.
Nah, I've already got that shot. I've already got that shot. Bingo!
Yeah, so anyway, as you can see, I've focused on the white flowers. I'm using the bluebells as a kind of backdrop. I've taken the aperture to as wide as it'll go in the hope that narrows the depth of field. But unfortunately, the narrowest it goes to is f5, so there's a good chance that those bluebells are still going to be in focus. Simon means business. The big white lens is out. This is how a pro does it.
Where's that?
I'm impressed. What is that? Is that a 70 to 200?
This is a 100 to 400.
100 to 400? Well.
Yeah. I only own two lenses, and I keep meaning to buy something, and Santa wasn't very good to me this year either.
He never is. You need to stop doing whatever it is you do bad. Yeah. Well, with this lens, I'm expecting some images from the wood nearby.
I'm just trying to get something that you haven't got.
Well, you can start with that lens. I've not got that. Okay, so we've got official envy here, because this, remember, if you may have seen this earlier in the video, I was saying I was convinced there was a shot there, but I couldn't see it. So I moved on and didn't shoot anything. Simon has just rocked up, plopped his camera down and got a belter of a shot. So I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all.
I'm sure you're just being kind.
No, that's a great shot. If you want to see it, make sure you pop over to his channel, watch the video, like the video, leave a comment, and if you've not subscribed, hit subscribe as well. But do not tell him that the shot's better than mine. Okay, I've come back to that little spot where I'd been shooting that tree. I was actually a little bit further forward. I think I mentioned on my first circuit of the wood that would look nice if we had some direct sunlight. Well, we have some direct sunlight. So I've come back to see if I can take the shot again. But as I was coming up to approach it, I discovered this kind of viewpoint here. So the shot I've got in mind is with the path here snaking round. This tree here is the kind of foreground interest. We did for a second there have a little patch of light here as well, and the tree itself was catching the light when I arrived. It's kind of, the sun's gone behind the cloud again, I think, so we've kind of lost the direct light again, but it's got a bit of potential. I'm just going to wait around to see if the sun comes back out. Ideally what we want is the sun to be hitting this tree but not the background, because then that will give you the contrast separation. But yeah, it's nice as is, very nice. I might do quite a tight crop as well, so from here include maybe a square, up here include the bluebells wrapped around the tree, square across, down, so you've got more bluebells on the side, and then that little tree that I'm interested in just off to the right of centre. We just need the sun. So just to say thanks again to Malcolm for the suggestion. If anybody else knows of a location that they'd like to see me visit and photograph, then please leave a comment below or drop me an email, and I'll just leave you with what was supposed to be my professional sounding outro. I was in the middle of recording this and Simon was doing his at the same time when a lady, noticing that the two of us were talking to camera and had microphones on, decided that rather than just walk on by, she would actually shout and ask us if we were recording, and in the process completely ruined the take. We didn't bother redoing it again, so I just left it at that. So that's us for another video. Hope you enjoyed Kinclaven Wood. Thanks to Simon here for the company. Don't forget to go check his channel, hit like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. If you enjoyed this video, I'll leave a link to another Bluebell video that I shot this time last year, I think it was, on a totally different wood. So until then, thanks for watching, I'll catch you next one. Cheers, bye.